Hello, everyone. Before we get started with the regular program, I'd like to take a moment to just thank my sponsors: Jiffy Ice Augers, Otter Outdoors, Reed's Sporting Goods, Northland Fishing Tackle, Quantum Fishing, and Lure Lock. Hey everyone, Shannon Cruz here from the Outdoor Cruise, and this is another one of my very most asked questions ever. People tell me I don't jig when I'm fishing for walleyes because I just don't understand it, or nobody's ever sat down and taught me. So this isn't an advanced version of it. This is just the basics. So what I want to cover is just a few basics for you guys, so you can go up to Lake of the Woods and not have to sit there with two rattle reels in and do nothing about it. So you've obviously already seen my video about Lake of the Woods, and I covered some lures and attractants that you could use. Today, again, just like I said before, we're going to cover jigging. So today, in this particular spot, we have a pretty strong bite. So I've got my trusty rod that I call Clarice. This is just the first ever rod that I've ever built. So there's nothing special about it. It's sentimental value. So what I do is I've hooked up some 8-pound spider wire. That 8-pound spider wire comes down to a swivel right here. That swivel goes to 6-pound fluorocarbon. P-line works very well. And then I put a snap clip on it, and hopefully we can see that. That snap clip allows you to switch out lures, because when you're up at Lake of the Woods or Mille Lacs or anywhere, you might be using a rattle bait to just a regular jigging spoon, to a flutter spoon. There's many spoons you can use. Could be a glow spoon. Northland Tackle has a whole line of them. Reed's Sporting Goods, you can buy them at. So here's the basics. You get that lure, right? This is a clam pinhead minnow. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bait, and if Vincent can come in here, I'm going to take the hook and I'm going to stick it right through the crane of that minnow, and I'm going to pinch directly behind the gills. It's all right to get some crusty stuff off the back. It just provides scent, okay? So there's my jigging starter kit right there. Something of this sort. I always take the tail and I send it right back down the hole so that I'm not leaving tails or anything inside the house or creating a mess. So now I have my jigging spoon. The next thing you do, it's baited, and I'm going to send it down the hole. So right now we're fishing about 34 feet of water. It'll take me a second, and as that's going down, I'll explain. Like, obviously the swivel is there to prevent line twist. If you don't use a swivel, you will pay for it dearly in about a half an hour of pumping that rod. So we're right now we're using some Markham Electronics. The way I have my Markham Electronics set up, and you can see it as we're going down here. Actually, if Vince pokes at that screen right there, you can actually see there is a fish there right now. On the right hand side of that, you can see I'm on the top, and you can see I'm jigging right there, and that fish is following me up. Now, the fish have been on and off lethargic for us right now, but this is actually an excellent time to start a good demo of a jig. So I have a couple methods that are pretty tried and true for me. The first thing I should have did when I put that lure in the water, put your lure in the water, go down about a foot, and give it a jig, and watch what it does. Because that's what it's doing on the bottom of the lake. You jig it a little bit, you can see what it's doing. If you're using well, some lures are flutter spoons. Some are like your Rapulas, your Swedish pimples. Everything has a different action to it. Understand what it's doing before you sink it to the bottom, because that's what the fish is seeing. Some of them have rattles in them. So if you drop a lure and it has a rattle in it, you jig it a few times and the fish runs away, stop using rattles. If it has a propeller to it, then you sink it and that propeller spins and the fish runs away, stop using it. There's just so many spoons that we can use. Just keep going through them. It's a tried and true method. Keep your dead stick down, but keep jigging. So, okay, so let's go back to the screen here. And you can see we've got some fish cooking here in the corner. I've got one kind of coming up to me, and I can tell by the size of that line right there, he's a pretty little guy. So I'm not too worried that if I was to miss him. So here's some of my techniques. So I drop this, and right now you might be able to see this spoon. So the first thing I do is I bring it down, and I will not touch the bottom immediately. I just get it down close to the bottom, and I'm just going to give it a few taps like this. So short 6 to 8 inch strokes will attract anything very close to where your hook is. Look at that right there. So that fish was right there on the bottom, and I jigged my line. So watch what I'm doing now. So I jigged it. I gave it 6 to 8 inch strokes. That attracted anything in the area, and that fish came up. Now, it didn't hit the line. That could mean something. I don't know what that is yet, but it's going to attract anything in the area. So he came up, he sniffed it, he went away. Could just be the time of day. But when he comes up, you notice when he came up, 6 to 8 inch strokes, he came up to me, and I turned him from 6 to 8 inch strokes to maybe 3 to 4 inch strokes like that. He didn't do anything, and I was constantly raising. Fish feed upwards. Almost never do they fish straight down. Okay? So you always want to keep your lure above that fish that's coming in. All right, so now I'm down here, and you can see on my screen right over here in this zoom area that there's nothing in the area. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some probably 12 to 18 inch strokes, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm letting my lure come up and filter down. Come up and filter down. And basically now, just like the cone of your transducer, I'm starting to attract fish from maybe 8 to 10 feet away because they're going to see the shininess of my lure. So at first it might be 12 to 18 inches, a nice good pop. I call it the flip, okay? Then if I'm really not seeing anything, I might start pulling up 24 to 36 inches, okay? You can see something drop there, see? And I started hitting 24 to 36 inches. You can see my bottom starting to become alive. So now I might switch back to my 6 to 8 inches. Look at that. I've attracted something into the area, and now I'm doing my 6 to 8. Here comes that fish. This never works on camera, I'll tell you now. So he went away. But that was close. You've seen exactly how it worked right there. 6 to 8, 12 to 18, 18 to 36. Once I attract something, I go back down to my 12 to 6 inches. And when they come up there, don't stop what you're doing. They came there because you attracted them by jigging. So stay on with it. So this is a great way to get into that. And you can continue to do that all day long. Don't be afraid to stop. Stop for 2 or 3 minutes. Stop for 5 minutes. And you can let it hang there. But make sure you're putting your rod back in a rod holder because when they hit it, it's going straight off. Yes, this is a Ford versus Chevy thing, guys. There's a million ways to do this. I'm just trying to get you started. It's a very common question, and I hope you get some use out of it. Throw some comments down below. Start subscribing. Maybe I can start giving away some stuff. Let me know what you want me to give away. I will have a drawing for new subscribers. Let me know. Comments below. We'll see you on the lake.